And when I read that in your books, I said, that's him. So look, we're honored to have you on this show. I got to tell you, I know everyone on this show, myself included, see you as a living mentor, kind of like you talk about in Mastery. And, your books, 48 Laws of Power was the first book I was introduced to. And once I read that book, I said, I have to read everything this person has ever written in his life. So I went back and I did that. It inspired me. So I've actually read more of your books than any other author. And some people, when I recommend your book, and I know you've talked about this before, I recommend your books and they're like, well, they look at me strange. And Tunde's had the same experience. Like, they look at me like, are you some type of evil, crazy person? And I'm like, no. Just like you say, look, I look at this as a self-help book in two ways. One, I want to be aware of all the crazy people that are out there. And two, I want to be aware of my own craziness, right?
Right.
And I think your book has done that better for me than anyone else. So I don't know if that was your intent or purpose on why you wrote these books, but I can tell you that's what I get out of your books. And particularly, I can think of a situation where your book really helped save, I would think, my almost career in a way. And I'll tell it that, when you talk about this in both the 48 Laws of Power and the Laws of Human Nature, to watch out for these kind of like moral superiority people, these folks that just focus on wanting to be how great they are, and that's their focus. And it reminded me of someone, I won't say the person's name, but it was I chaired a university, and there was a really high up person there. This will probably give it away anyway, but so be it. and this person was so good at making himself look good, and he never wanted to talk about his pay, and he actually advertised that he would never, they didn't get a raise. Meanwhile, his whole staff was falling apart, and he would make everyone else look bad. He was a master passive aggressive, and he got off being like a moral superiority person and using that as power. And when I read that in your books, I said, that's him. That's what's going on. And it actually saved me in dealing with them, because it used to drive me crazy, and no one could figure it out. So I want to tell you thank you, and thank you for all